Feeling good.
Feeling good. Feeling good.
41-21. We Rose Bowl champs. Took it out west, man. We took the show out west, man. Took care of business, man. What's up, Tim? What's up, man?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, man. And we always got to check our bias, right? Going in, I feel like they can get out ahead and really kind of put Oregon away early, but you don't want to, like you don't know how much of that is just home cooking, or a reality. But I honestly I thought Oregon was a little bit flat coming out. I don't think they were truly ready for the moment initially, and then by the
No.
time they opened up their eyes, it was too late. Like it was too late to even because they needed to beat Ohio State. Then Ohio State's the better team.
Mm.
They're a better team. So to beat them, they have to play like a really good game, like they did in Oregon, right?
Mhm.
But they wasn't in Oregon.
It wasn't in
So
Oregon. They came out. I mean, I hate to say they came out flat because y'all was just a playoff game. I know the coaching staff. They've been like Dan Lanning, the coach. They've been trying to not let this happen. But the reality of it is like you just got to get into that and feel that intensity that Ohio State is playing with, that speed, that tenacious hitting and running and blocking and all those things that we bring to the table. And just like today, Oregon couldn't figure it out until it was 34-0, right? It was
yeah,
just too damn late.
and honestly, it's hard to get there. Like they gone through a whole season undefeated. You know what I'm saying? They haven't been defeated. The last time they played Ohio State didn't really play up to their capabilities. And you hate to make excuses for games that are losses, and you want to give credit to the other team. But Will Howard came out and said, like, we don't feel like we lost the game. We don't feel like we actually lost the game. We feel like we beat ourselves, which is like, you don't say that, right? You don't say that, but when you look at how they lost to Oregon the first time, explosive plays, things uncharacteristic of certain players that you're not used to seeing because they typically don't do that because and just not getting the play call in, not getting lined up. Like that's stuff that's easily correctable. So if they did that in the first game, they likely don't lose. So
Mhm.
the next time it's hard, and it's Dan Lanning it was a task for him to, you got a month of preparation, a whole new season, a postseason. You haven't played a game. Like that's
You
hard to
13
keep
and 0,
everybody.
right?
13 and no, like,
13 and 0.
like
You went to a new conference. You ran the conference. You're the
right.
conference championship. You're no doubt the number one team in the nation. You got, I mean, a lot of stuff against you there
And
when it comes to
and,
motivating.
Ohio State has a nuclear weapon on offense that say you did everything right. Let's say they did everything right. They still got a nuclear weapon on offense that you got to deal with,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and they triggered
And they triggered it. They triggered it. Yeah,
it.
Jeremiah Smith just won. He just got the MVP trophy for the offensive MVP here at the Rose Bowl. As a true freshman, I mean, he'd have been another Rose Bowl. They're gonna have to get him a statue outside next to Archie, man. Like,
Right.
there's no question about it. Uh, but yeah, I mean, he just came out with especially the thing I say was most impressive about him was like what he said in the media beforehand, right? Like he's like the stories are coming out about him going to Heartline in practice. Like, hey, you need to challenge me more. Like, I need to do more. And it's like, hey, 1-on-1 with me. Like, we're taking the shot. We're going to do it this game. And just to go out here and have this performance, man, this pretty damn impressive, man.
Yeah.
He's just really speechless at this point.
Yeah, let's talk about that because he's a freshman. He's a freshman wide receiver. So I want to put into perspective for those who have never been freshman football players, right? You're seeing a lot of stuff for the first time. You're experiencing a lot of stuff for the first time. And there's a lot of life coming at you. You got
Yeah,
schoolwork. That's different
yeah,
than the schoolwork you had when you was in high school. You got
you
you
got
got
money.
play. Go ahead.
You got money. You got NIL
You
money.
got NIL money. You got girls.
You
There's
got
girls.
girls.
There's a
They
lot more
exist.
girls just in one like small area than you're used to. And then you're playing against guys who are much better than what you used to play against. Like much more talented, much more consistent, et cetera, et cetera. And you kind of don't know what you don't know either. Like you don't know. If you're having a good year, you think, oh, I'm a good player, whatever. for him to go to hardline and understand, like, look, I've had a good year already. Like, I'm getting awards and all that stuff, but there's more to my game that can be unlocked in the next couple weeks. I want you to push me harder. Like, that's not a freshman thing to do.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's
that's
just
not a
not. It's
freshman
just not.
mentality
It's
at
just
all.
reality.
Yeah.
He plays and operates kind of like a NFL vet, in my opinion, already as a freshman. So that's, I mean, you got to give kudos to whoever helped develop him up until this point, and just to him,
Yeah.
right? Because he understands the moment. He understands it's hard when you're always better than everybody coming out of high school. When you've head and shoulders, I can't even imagine who was guarding him in high school. To still know, like, that I got so much more to my game that I can unlock. I need to lock in and make it happen this early in his career. So shout out to him for that, man, because it's
Yeah,
showing on
for
the
sure.
field for sure.
Right, and as we know, Geno Smith is his. I think it's his cousin. I don't know. I want to say first cousin, but it's his cousin, right? And then,
Yeah.
so obviously got that NFL pedigree in his family. But Geno would do interviews. He used to tell. He'd go into high to tell Jerry, like, "Hey, you could be the best ever. Like, you could do it." And for whatever reason, like, he's listening, he's learning, he's locked in, and like you said, it's just pretty impressive. I know when I was a true freshman at Ohio State, like, I red shirt first off. I was nowhere near ready to develop mentally, physically to play in the actual game. And my mindset was really just like, I'm trying to improve in practice, but whatever is going on in the actual games, I'm really not participating because once again, I'm red shirted. There's no chance for me to play. And his guy's mindset is like, I will need to be the best right now. What are the next steps I need to do to improve and things of that nature? And then go out and back it up. I mean, he go out
Yeah.
here and play a stellar game, running by guys, running through guys, all the things above that you could ask for from a star wide receiver he brought today. And
Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's good to be a Buckeye. That's for sure.
so I so, so I tweeted this before, that Ohio State has all this talent on offense, and I feel like people don't understand how challenging it could be to get everybody involved and get the ball spread around, and do what's best for the team in that way as a coach from a game planning standpoint. And I think they finally finally have gotten to a point. I don't know. There's a number of reasons why it could be now, but they finally understand, like, okay, let's just start with Jeremiah Smith. Right? Doesn't just have to be down the field jump balls. Like, throw him a screen pass, throw him a shallow cross, throw him a over route, throw him a curl. Like, let's just get him the ball in some space and force the defense to have to deal with. And then we can go get a Mecca Ibuka in matchups, because now they're so concerned about Jeremiah Smith. They gotta go guard this other guy who's a potential first round, second round pick. And then we get up ahead, and then we can go to the run game, and now we got some explosive running. Like, that to me was always what was needed offensively, but it's always easier said than done. But now that they're doing it, I think they finally found their groove offensively of how they want to attack defense.
Yeah, how they want to approach it. And once again, do it early, get up,
Yeah,
and then let's see if these guys got the guys to keep up with us. But that brings us to the next point, because most of the reason that you can't keep up with us is our impressive defense, right? Like, they're going out there, and they today, obviously 21 points overall, obviously a little lopsided at the end. They gave a couple. They changed their, I want to say, defensive philosophy in the second half, right? They start giving a little bit more space and things of that nature, not being
yeah.
as more aggressive and hands on with the guys at the line of scrimmage. But in the first half, really went out there and played well. I'm looking at the stats. So I was looking down here for a while trying to get the sack stats. So Ohio State had 8 sacks against Dylan Gabriel, who we spoke about before this tonight. It's like, no one affects Dylan Gabriel. We
Nobody
had
gets
Zachary Neal on from Believe in Oregon. I think they said after the first 2 games of the season, they had gave up like 6 sacks all season. No
Yeah.
one affects this guy in the pocket. We got it. We got it done today. I believe it was. I think JT started off. Jack Sawyer got obviously a couple of sacks as well. Tyleek was active all day in the
Yeah,
backfield and bringing pressure. I mean, just a
somebody put
overall
in the
impressive.
somebody put in the chat quote said, "Don't forget T. Williams." Yeah, Tyleek, man, he was impressive, man. I think he made some money. This is the thing about these games when you're playing against good teams over and over again, and you're putting up, you're getting big time sacks, making big time plays in these games. You're making money because when the GM goes and turns on the film, they want to see you. They want to see good versus good, right? They
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily want to see you versus Purdue, although Purdue got some NFL players, but they want to see you. How did you play versus Tennessee's offensive line? How did you play versus Oregon? And a guy like Tyleek, I think he continues to move up boards based on his
Yeah.
play on the interior. And I thought that just rushing four, the defense just rushing forward for most of the game did a really good job getting pressure on the quarterback. I was a little bit surprised. I thought they was gonna
Yeah.
have to bring a little bit more pressure, and they really didn't have to.
No, right. I mean, really, the pressure really we got Oregon going, right? We
Yeah,
almost the
right.
pressure. That's when we couldn't get to Dylan Gabriel, and he able to get the ball downfield once he kind of scrambled around a little bit. But yeah, Tyleek made some very impressive plays. I mean, one play was like an outside zone. He pitched in. He like ricochets off the center, go straight flat down the line, and still get the tackle for like maybe a no gain or tackle for loss or things of that nature. Oregon's right tackle, so I don't know the guy's name, but he just had a rough day. I mean, Jack was just winning at will, essentially against him in all one-on-one type of situations. Our basically both sides of the ball, because we know Oregon has some guys up front, and
Yep.
essentially we neutralized them. I think Harmon made a couple plays, and rightfully so. They should make a few plays,
Yeah,
but
these are
overall in the
good players.
trenches, yeah, they're good players. Overall in the trenches, I think we stood up. I didn't even realize that did Jordan Birch even play? Like I didn't even see him
Yeah, that's a.
out
Yeah,
there.
did he play? Like somebody in
I'm
the chat, like did Birch play for Oregon? Did he? I didn't see him. I didn't see him
I
make a
didn't see
play.
him out there. I'm looking at the stat line. I got one tackle for him for the day, so I don't know. Yeah, somebody help me out there. I don't know if he's out
So,
there or not. I just don't recall. Don't recall.
so yeah, big up to the offensive line because they played. They had a really, really, really good game. Did
another really good game.
yeah.
They're
Are,
stacking
are,
them up.
are you fans? Are y'all still concerned about Denzel Burke? Like, are we still concerned about Denzel Burke, man? Because I don't see the Oregon game happen, and week after week after week after week, we don't even we don't see nothing except him making a big hit, and then nothing in the pass game, right? So obviously that first game he made some mistakes uncharacteristic of himself, but this game they tried him deep on a deep post.
Yeah,
It seemed like he was the closest one to the ball in that
closest guy
situation.
to the ball. Yeah, right.
If it was thrown accurately, it would have been a pick.
Yeah, I mean another great performance for him. Davidson played well as well. I don't recall any penalties for Davidson. I know that's
No, no
usually
penalties.
his
No
thing,
penalties.
right? He kind of get into that rhythm of grabbing guys. I didn't see any of that today. Um,
Cody Simon had a huge. Cody Simon had a huge game. You talking about another guy who's making himself some money in this playoff run. Cody Simon, and then our two safeties, man, both Ransom and Downs. Caleb Downs, obviously one of the best defensive players in the country, and the commentators make it a point to talk about him on every defensive play, pretty much. But Lathan Ransom as well, man, he just continues to ball out every single game. He's much improved in coverage. A
mhm.
couple years ago, coverage was the thing that he needed to improve on. He's much improved in coverage. And man, they sent him on a blitz once. Running back stepped up to make the block. He discarded the running back, chased down Dylan Gabriel, made the sack. Um, hard hitting plays.
Hard hitting plays.
Hard
Yeah,
hitting plays, man.
all across the board. Hard hitting plays out of Ransom. Yeah,
So I
yeah,
mean,
man.
just
I mean,
a total team destruction
yeah,
just across
yeah,
the board.
yeah. That's for sure. I mean, obviously we play well. We get an early lead. We hold it. Like I said, I'm watching the game. My guy Ricky here, one of our teammates here, former teammates here at Ohio State. And going into half, they score right for half. We were still locked in. Like it ain't over yet. We got to get out and match them in the third quarter. And Oregon put a drive together. But then once we put a drive together, we matched it right.
Yeah.
It kind of lit the hair down a little bit. But I wanted to I say that to say we went on to win. Obviously, Texas, who we'll see next here in the Cotton Bowl, overtime game against Arizona State, a very hard fought game. Now you got to think about it, like right now we're kind of on that high horse, right? Two really good games in a row, games essentially we blowouts. While Texas had a little bit more of a struggle to their matchups.
Yeah.
Did you catch the Texas game at all? Thoughts
Yeah,
on it?
yeah. I watched Texas. I feel like Texas has for some weeks now. I mean, obviously they're winning games, right? They're playing pretty good for the most part, but they seem like there's a little bit of struggle in them. Like they have another level to them that they haven't gotten to, and a lot of that struggle is happening at the quarterback position right now. Quinn Ewers has not played to his best. I think the last few weeks. I watched that Arizona State. I thought Arizona State outplayed Texas for most of the game. They just in key moments to finish drives, they just couldn't punch the ball there. They just couldn't do it. And the challenge was they just have smaller linemen than Texas, so they needed to figure out a better way to scheme up finishing those plays. I mean, Scatterball had a great game, but I thought their
Yeah,
offensive
man. Very
game
impressive.
plan they could have came up with a better way to punch in some of those drives after driving down the field, getting to the 2-yard line.
Yeah. Arizona State. I would say if Texas would have lost, they would have felt really bad. Like, yeah, we kind of gave this one up because they, jumped on them early and essentially done nothing until Arizona State put pressure on them. Then they had to basically come back to win that game. If you look at it emotionally, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know, man. I mean, Arizona State played well. They absolutely had a great season. I think you know, they can kick themselves about some of those opportunities, right? I think they got stopped on fourth down 2 or 3 times in the game. Few turnovers. But that guy Scatterboo played a fantastic game. They still I seen afterwards. They still gave him an MVP trophy. Like
Oh, they did.
yeah. I mean, obviously he deserved
he
it,
was
right?
the MVP.
He was the definition of the MVP. I mean, yeah,
but
this gutsy
so
performance. But
Texas is a good team, a really good football team, a lot of talent. They don't have anybody. They don't have anybody that I'm afraid of, right? Like they don't have any. They got a lot of guys playing good football, but they don't have anybody that I say, man, he's gonna be tough, super tough to deal with. Now their defensive line is solid. They got some decent receivers. They got the defensive line probably. If there's a concern, if there's ever a concern for them, is going against that D line. But honestly, they're a good football team that you got to go beat. But there's no one that I look at and I say, man, they're just gonna be hard to deal with. Oregon has some of those guys.
yeah, Oregon has some. But yeah, and that's the thing. I guess another thing about what I'm saying about where we're at in the season. We're coming off 2 games. We won pretty handily, playing really good football, right? And Texas the coaches could look at the film and say, like, we're not playing our best games.
Right.
Like, we keep winning. So now, next week when we see them, if they figure out a way to now play their best game, they most likely will look a lot different, and the players kind of have to feel that. Like, yeah, we kind of gave this up. We could tighten up here, and then on top of that, obviously it's just I don't know, playoffs now, but bowl essential. We got to go play in Texas.
Right.
We got to go play in Dallas, Texas, or wherever the stadium is technically located at. But we're in Texas, a couple hours from their campus.
I mean
it's something.
Yeah, you laid out the challenge. You laid out the challenge is that one, keeping the guys locked in, focus, and trying to because you still got to try to improve on something. Like you have to have your mindset and continuing to build. It's hard to do when you just blew out two teams that were expected to be real challenges, right? Real challenges. Tennessee, SEC team, whatever. Oregon, #1 team in the nation, undefeated. It's a little bit easier for Oregon because you already lost to Oregon.
Yeah.
Right. So you can always go back and say, we want to get that team back. But for Texas, it's kind of like, oh yeah, they almost lost to Arizona State. We've already.
So that's kind of close.
Yeah, that's gonna be the challenge.
They lost to the same team twice. This type of team, it's all that stuff can get in your head, man, and affect the way we've been playing. So yeah.
Well, we got some people in the chat. They said the secondary played like the little brother was being held for ransom. I was like, every tackle I could hear it. I was confused for a second. I was like, are they mic'd up on the field? Like every tackle, even if they caught the ball, like it was nothing. It wasn't giving anything until a little bit later on in the game. But early on, everything was a big hit after hit after hit, and they made Oregon earn everything early on. Um, so
Yeah, I'm checking the stats here. We had Alfie Tez Johnson. It's their guy. I mean, obviously, we know they get the ball to a lot of different receivers, but of late, Tez has been their guy. We had him to 5 catches for 32 yards. His longest reception was only for 12. Um, and obviously, that was one of the guys that beat us deep when we played them in the first game. That's stepping up, man. That's
yeah, and
stepping up and getting it done for
the
sure.
defensive line really closed a lot of those, even though he still was able to kind of scramble around. But they closed a lot of those lanes for Dylan Gabriel, especially early on, to be able to step up and just sit in the pocket and deliver those passes. So
Yeah.
they clogged it up. Jack Sawyer, he probably got his hand on like three footballs. It seemed like Jack Sawyer always is hitting the ball, man. I don't know, close to getting picks. So the Russian coverage collectively, man. It was a total team collective effort aside from a few plays,
Right.
which was not what we saw the last time they played.
Yeah, that's true. Because and another thing I guess to bring up, Dylan Gabriel is not the tallest of guys, right? He's only
No.
5'10" type of guy. Great job, man. Get your hands up, slap some balls around, make things uncomfortable for him when you rush him, try to get to his face. And obviously, we did a great job today. I mean, our guys took a lot of heat for not getting pressure on Gabriel last time we played him. Here in I'm gonna say the media, us and the media, the people that's talking about the game and not playing it. Um, and like I say, no one this year done well. We figured it out today, and
So
he's gonna be a
that was
little black. But I mean, for this being 6 year, right? Like 61 starts, he's gonna remember this game. I'll say his last game, but I don't know. Things get so tricky now.
right. You might be a
He might have another
seventh year.
year eligibility somewhere.
I want to give a shout out to the coaches, man. So, prior to this, I said I feel like in-game coaching that Oregon may have had the edge. Game planning, like scheming up, preparing for the game, and what they can come out there and do. I feel like Ryan Day had the edge. I thought that proved true tonight from a preparing for the game standpoint, but I thought in game there was a play right before the half where Oregon is driving or whatever, and they had a fourth down. They went for it on fourth down. They got to get this fourth down at this point. Like they're down, they don't got no points. You see what they get in, and there's a lot of movement, a lot of stuff happening, and I think Ohio State was in some type of man coverage. They call timeout, come out, and they run like a Tampa 2. And Oregon still and all that motion and movement, but they come out in that cover 2 and they're able to pass all that stuff off. And Oregon, they don't get the fourth down. I thought a couple of times they did that really in game, being able to identify and prepare for what Oregon was going to do and counter in game. So I kudos to the coaches. I thought the game plan, what they did during the game, responding when they know that they needed to respond because Oregon was trying to launch a comeback. I thought they did a great job. And they run that Tampa 2, man. They run that Tampa 2 with Caleb Downs sitting right in the middle. All right. Usually you got that middle linebacker who has to play the hole in the middle. They put Caleb Downs in the middle linebacker in that position like a middle linebacker, and now he's able to play that coverage. And I just think he's so effective in that position because he covers a lot of ground if you decide to run the ball. So he could still feel like a linebacker. But if it's pass, you actually got a guy who, has a great nose and knack for getting to the ball and really playing zone coverage in an effective way. So he got his hand on a few, I think maybe 3 potential interceptions that he could have had. He dropped them. So, we got to give him flack for dropping.
He got to work on something, right?
Right. But I thought the way they schemed up this game, their approach, in their in-game coaching was elite, man. I thought it was a complete.
But that brings back to one point though, like you said, like we're taking timeouts because we don't like the way to look, and we get a better chance to come back, talk about it, make some adjustments, and get ready for what Oregon's about to run. We don't do that if we're down, right? We don't do that if it's a close game because now Coach Day is thinking like, well, we might have to, be in a situation where we need to get these points back to tie to win the game. So if it's a tie game or we're down, we're most likely just gonna let it happen. Let it happen, knowing that we need to, get back on offense, get the ball back in our hands, so we can kind of go back on attack. But we
That's a
get
good
that
point.
lead, we get that lead, and now we could do things like that. We could take a step back and think about the holistic approach to what we're trying to do and what's best for the team, and let us try to win this situation right here, right now, and because and burn those timeouts if we need them. Like they probably got us right.
Right.
They sense it, man. They've been seeing the pressures. They probably got a man beater call.
Yep.
A natural rub type play. Guys gonna be wide open for a first down. Let's fix it right now. Time up, switch it up, make them try to do something different. See if they can execute now that they don't know exactly what we're going to run as a defense. And like I said, we won a lot of those situations today. Oregon couldn't do it. They couldn't figure it out.
This is a great point made here by Mozart's Ghost. It's going to be forgotten about, but hopefully Fielding got some confidence back with going two for two from a decent range. Huge. I thought him making that first field goal, I'm like, this is big for him. He has to start over. You know what I'm saying? He has to start over. I don't know whatever happened to him before. He has to reset. He has to hit some field goals in the game. And build from there and be able to pull from that the next time he kicks a field goal. So that I agree. It was huge for him to be able to go out there and hit a couple field goals. Forget about what was happening again. Forget about the blowout and all the other stuff. He needed to personally go out there. I guess they had him compete during like the bowl practice or playoff practice to earn that position back. Now he's out there. He's making a couple field goals. Because we're going to need these field goals,
We're going to need them. We're going to need them. I mean, we need them today. I mean, obviously, we was lit winning, right? And so if we hit a field goal and we go up 17-0, that keeps momentum with Ohio State, right? Like, if we go out there and he missed that kick or he kicks it low and it gets blocked or it's anything of that nature, Oregon's now feeling good. Like, okay, we took the big punch. We got something to go our way. Let's try to get back in this game. But you make that kick, and now you got the slow process. We got a TV timeout. We get the kickoff team out there. We kick it out the end zone. Maybe it's another TV timeout. And all that momentum has to sit with you. Like, all right, now we're down 17-0. We're down 3 scores now instead of down 2 and feeling much better about the situation. So that's a great point that, Fielding going out there and making a couple on the road. This is about what? Let's call it 50 crowd, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's not cheering for us. He goes out there, he executes and get it done. And then the top thing though is that they celebrated it though. Like they didn't take that kick for granted, right?
Yeah,
You see Coach
right.
Day, the sidelines hyping him up. Hey, great job! You went out there, you got it done, you executed, you kicked it, you made it. Do it. They was able to do it again. That's ways into it because obviously it's a kicker, man. A lot of this is mental, right? We
Right.
always say pressure bust pipes, right? When it especially comes to sports and how they're played. So him going out there and mentally getting back into the rhythm of executing, getting it down, pinning some points on the board when a team needs you. Like I say, we're gonna need them again against Texas, or and hopefully we take victory, and then also the chance at the national championship game. We can't go in that worried about making 35, 40-yard field goals. We got to know we got those points if we get to that spot on the field.
Lastly, any early thoughts on what the approach should be versus Texas from a game plan standpoint?
Early thoughts, I would say, is similar today. No turnovers. I feel like Texas is a team that kind of strive off the turnover. Like you said, their defensive line is pretty active. This is probably be the most athletic unit that we get to play against so far. We're just talking about this sheer number of guys and the different things they could do. So no turnovers. We have to, once again, this is a pocket guy, right? When Era's out there, we how to affect the quarterback. We got to, today we didn't have to do so much dialing it up to affect them, but against Texas, we most likely have to do some overload type of situations, win our one-on-one matchups, affect the quarterback, because we know Texas could get sloppy. For whatever reason, they could get sloppy. So we got to bring out that sloppy Texas football, bring that out of them, and kind of put them in that situation because as we know, they play sloppy, but we also know they make big plays and get themselves back into those games so they can
Right.
win them. So they're used to that situation. So you got to kind of keep coming at them even when you have a lead.
Yeah, it's a big time matchup. Texas versus Ohio State, two huge alumni bases, two huge fan bases. Um, two blue bloods. It's gonna be a big time matchup. It's gonna get a lot of views. A lot of people gonna show up to the game and want to be at that game. So it's gonna be good for college football.
Yeah,
So
that's for sure. That's for sure. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. But yeah, man. Let's wrap it, man. Obviously, we got our show coming up here in a few days. Obviously, we'll have more on Texas at that time. We'll celebrate the win for 24 hours, like Coach Day. We'll celebrate for 24 hours. And then tomorrow, we'll start preparing for the Longhorns, man. But our boys, they did it. They deserved it tonight, and you know, great job taking care of the Rose Bowl for sure.
yeah, go Bucks.
Go Bucks. Talk to you guys soon.